Hi everyone, welcome to making lemon drizzle cake. I'm Michelle from Boozy Bakers. This is one of my absolute favourites, but then who doesn't like a lemon drizzle cake? It's such a lovely sponge, really zesty with all that lemon in it, and I think perfect for a bit of an autumnal day. So do let me know if you're cooking along or just watching along and maybe baking later. Do say hi in the comments, it'd be lovely to hear from you. I've got everything set up, so I'm just going to let everyone just log on and find us before we start. But if you are all really organised, you can preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Celsius for fan or gas mark 4. And tell me where you are in the country as well and what you've been up to. Be nice to hear from you all. So I'll give you a minute. Oh, we love a lemon drizzle cake. Yeah, who doesn't? Hi, Catherine. Yeah, I've got to say, this is my son's favourite. He doesn't eat many cakes, but he will scoff a lemon drizzle. So I'm going to have to make sure everyone gets some before he gets his hands on it. Right then. So I've recommended, Tracy's put, I'm not brave enough to cook along, but we'll watch and learn. Tracy, you'll be fine. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with watching and then replaying the video. Virtual Village Hall will have it saved so you can come back to it. But do use the opportunity. If there's anything you're not sure of, just ask at any time. I've got the comments up as I'm talking. So do ask away, and anything you're not sure of, even if it's about any baking, just ask away and I'll answer for you. So I've recommended a 9-inch tin. Now it doesn't have to be exact, but obviously if it's bigger than 9-inch, you're going to have a shallow mix, and if it's smaller, you're going to have a much deeper mix. So this is about an 8 by 10 rather than a 9-inch square, and that's fine. And what I've done is you can see it's kind of stuck down. I've just greased the tin with some margarine, and then I've put on some parchment paper just to fit around the bottom, the base and the sides. And that will stop everything from sticking. If you've watched me before, you know I have a deep mistrust of any kind of tin. It doesn't matter if it's brand new. I don't trust tins. I do like lining things. So you will need to have a tin. Now, if you think I don't have any tins, all I've got in the cupboards is like a cupcake tray. That's fine, do cupcakes. You can make this as a loaf cake, you can make it as a tray bake, which is what I'm going to do, and you can make it as cupcakes. All you need to do is adjust your cooking times. So I will give you those cooking times at the end when we've got the batter in the oven. But if you're doing something different, tell me what you're making and I'll give you a guesstimate, a good guesstimate, I promise, of how long you need to leave it in the oven for. Right then. So the first thing we're going to do is get 300 grams of butter. Now this is softened, so I'm not going to give myself too much hard work mixing it, and it's unsalted butter. You can use margarine if you prefer. So that's 300 grams of butter. And if you missed just the very start, if you want to preheat your oven, it's 180 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees for fan, and gas mark 4 if you're using a gas oven. I'm in Gloucestershire. We love a lemon drizzle cake. Oh, me too. What's your weather like in Gloucestershire? It's getting dark already, isn't it? I've got to say I do quite like it though. I don't know. It feels a bit cosy to me. Maybe that's because I've got the oven on and the smell of baking and darker nights. There's nothing wrong with that. I like curling up on a sofa with a cup of tea and a slice of cake. Right, so in my bowl, I've got my softened butter. That's 300 grams of butter. And as I said, if you want to use margarine, you can. If you're going to do this as a dairy-free, you can use a dairy-free butter in there or spread. That's not a problem. And then to that, I'm going to add 300 grams of caster sugar. So there we go. And I'm going to mix that together. It's cloudy and dull, says Alison. Yeah, it's pretty much the same here, but I'm going with it. It's fine. I'll probably change my mind if I had to be out in it and it's cold. Then I get grumpy. But in the kitchen, I'm all right. So I wonder how many of you did the Christmas cake making last week. I hope you had good results. If you haven't done it, do go back and check the other Virtual Village Hall videos. You can make that still, plenty of time. Get it made, and then you can feed it up until Christmas time. So I'm just I'm using the back of my spoon just to push the butter and the sugar together. We don't want to see any of the sugar. We want it all to be combined. Bear with me. Try to not get too noisy with my bowl. You can use a mixer if you want. I've got to say, I do like doing things by hand. I bake a lot of cakes per day. When we do events, we go up to about 1,000 cupcakes. I let the mixers do the buttercream, but I still do things by hand. I love it. I've got a big bit of butter that I'm just going to squish because I don't want a huge bit of butter on its own. That will melt and ruin a bit of the cake. So let's just make sure it's all well combined. There we go. I think we're about there. A bit more. I can just see a tiny bit of butter, although it's all the same colour now. Suddenly see this shiny bit of butter. There. So that's my mixture. Quite thick still, and that's just the butter and the sugar. Both of those are 300 grams each. 300 of butter, 300 of sugar. And to that, I'm going to add 4 medium eggs. I don't particularly get hung up on the size of eggs. Medium's fine. It's about 60 grams. But if they're slightly bigger or slightly smaller, just use them because you can make up the difference with a bit of milk. So what I tend to do is do half of the eggs, give it a mix, and then sometimes a mixture can curdle and it looks like it's splitting. And all you need to do is just add some of your flour to bring it back together and then add the other 2 eggs. So 2 of the 4 eggs going in. And I'm just going to give those a stir up. So my husband went and bought me the lemons for today. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen such big lemons. They're huge. The size of that. I don't know if he comes across on video as much as it does seeing it. But I'm 6 foot. I've got long ET fingers and it's huge. Right. Okay, giving this a bit of a mix. Sorry, I'm going to get noisy. Right, so that's mixed up. It's actually not separated, but don't be surprised if it looks a little bit like curdled milk. All you need to do is I'll do it as well, a teaspoon of your flour and add, or tablespoon rather. So flour-wise, I've suggested 280 grams of self-raising flour. Mine's already weighed out. I'll come back to this, but all I'm doing is taking a tablespoon and adding it to my mixture. And that, when you mix it in, just brings it all together again. And then we'll go back to doing the eggs. Silicone would have been such a better option than this metal spoon against a glass bowl, but it does allow you to see what I'm doing, so we'll go along with it. Right. So remaining 2 eggs. So far, you've got 300 grams of butter, 300 of sugar, and we're going to add 4 eggs in total. 4 just medium eggs. There we go. If I'm going too fast for anyone, just yell at me. I don't mind. There we go. So get those extra 2 in and give it a mix up. It's like combining some of the air, so I'm kind of rotating the spoon almost and letting the air get into it. When it comes to the flour, we'll do a bit of folding just to make sure we've got that air inside. Just give it a really good mix up, like so. There we go. Now, as I said, flour-wise, I'm using a self-raising flour, 280 grams even. So I've got that, and I'm going to add some baking powder. Probably don't have a ginormous tub of it like this, just your average baking powder, and just give it a good teaspoon to help out with the rise. And then you want to sieve that 280 degree. Oh, I don't know what it is with me with degrees today. 280 grams of self-raising flour and the teaspoon of baking powder, and just pop it through a sieve, which again aerates the flour into your mixture. But don't stir it yet, because we're going to add some lemon first. So just pop it on top of your mixture like so. Last bit. There we go. So mine's just sitting on top of the bowl, but I'm not going to do anything more than that with it. It's just sitting on the top. Now, it's a lemon cake, so it's about time we look to use some lemon. So I've got a nice fresh lemon here. What I want to do is I want to put the zest of it into my batter, and then I want to use the juice of it to lace the cake after it's baked. So it's quite firm, this lemon. So to stop it being so firm, you can roll it on the worktop, which just helps when it comes to squeezing it out. So just apply a bit of pressure and give the lemon a bit of a roll. Now, if you want to make this cake and you think, I haven't got a lemon, I've got all sorts of lemony things, but I haven't got a lemon, you can make this if you put a little bit of lemon extract into your cake. And if you've got some lemon juice, like pancake day, you've got your lemon juice, you could use the lemon juice on the top of the cake. So if you have those things in your pantry, by all means, you can, well, not cheat, just use different items. And if you want to make it interesting and put some lime in it or some orange, you can change it up. Right, so I'm going to start grating. You can get finer graters than this. This is kind of like a slightly bigger one for fruit, but I quite like the amount of zest you can get from it. But try not to grate the white. You just want the yellow, but not the white inside. That's a bit more bitter. So you just want to go round the lemon and just grate the zest off it without going too deep into it. You certainly don't want to get to the fleshy fruit. There we go. Had a bit of a fun day today. I've been making meringues as well. Do like a meringue, but only if they're chewy in the middle. I like it crispy on the outside and chewy in the middle. There we go. Getting there. Just checking how much I'm using, making sure I don't go too far into the lemon. If you've got a smaller lemon and you want it to be particularly lemony, you can use 2. You just want to get as much zest as you can into this cake. Getting there. There we go. A bit more. I have done this I did lemon and lime before. That's tasty and a bit different. And you could go a bit more exotic, and you could add some desiccated coconut to your mix. Maybe replace some of the flour, like a tablespoon of flour for a tablespoon of coconut, and put some lime and lemon, and really make something a bit special there. Depending on what you like. A lot of people don't like coconut, do they? Right, I think that's about it. I think I've got everything off that lemon. I'm leaving the very ends because they're a bit too knobbly to mess around with. But that's about my lemon done. So I'm just going to make sure I've got all of the zest off the grater. There we go. And then what we want to do is fold that all together. So I'll try and angle my bowl. What I'm doing is I'm picking up the mixture and bringing it over the top. I'll bring it a bit closer. Hang on. So I'm picking up the mixture and folding it over the top, a bit like folding sort of the bed over, you know, tucking it in. So from the bottom over the top, and I'm just lightly combining flour and the mixture and bringing it all together. It won't matter if you see little specks of flour in it. Don't feel like you have to over mix it. We're going to put some milk into it anyway to loosen it. So I'm just turning the bowl a little bit to help me make sure I reach everywhere. And I'm just folding that in, and I can smell the lemon so much. Do love that smell. I made a chocolate cake the other day with so many chocolates on it and a chocolate drip, and as I handed it to my customer, the smell of chocolate, it's very nice. But lemon, I think lemon beats chocolate for me. Right. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite a thick mix. And I've got flour still that you can see on the top there, but I'm not going to mix it any more than that. It's very heavy. You can see it doesn't really fall from the spoon at the moment. So I want to make that looser. And the way I'm going to do that is to add some milk. Now, every flour has absorbs different amounts. And if you've used margarine as opposed to butter, you might find you have a slightly looser mix. So what I would advise is, I've said 50 ml of milk. I would do a tablespoon or two at a time. Now I know that mine's quite heavy, so I'm going to do 2 tablespoons, which is probably about 25 ml. I'm going to start stirring and then see what I think, because I want it to be able to drop from the spoon a bit. I think I'm going to need that whole 50 ml, but as you make it up, do kind of do a bit of a test, but you can see that's still pretty thick. So I'm going to put the whole lot in. There we go. And then just gently give that a mix up. There we go. That's looking a bit looser now. You still want it to be a nice thick batter, but you just don't want it to the point it almost resembles cookie dough. There you go. So you can see now it does fall off. It's still thick, but it does fall off. I'm just going to give it a bit more of a stir up. But once if it's a bit looser than that, that's fine. I mean, to be honest, that is still quite thick. You could go for another tablespoon or so, but I know that will work. I'm not worried about that. But if you want it a bit thinner, you can. You just don't want a really thin mix. So going back to the tray, if you are using like a tray bake tray, so I've got, it's deep enough sides to hold my mixture. You want to pour all of your mixture now into that tray. If you are doing cupcakes, you want to put your cases into your muffin tin and then spoon the mixture about half full to 2/3 full of the batter. There we go. I'm just going to spoon all mine in. Silicone spatula to scrape out the bowl, quite useful. There you go. You think that's not lemony enough? I will be making up a mixture once we've got this in the oven to add the more lemon to it. Tracy said, I'll be using a loaf tin. Absolutely fine. Just make sure you line it. I always do a bit of a hammock with a loaf tin. So at least on the length, make sure it goes outside of it so you can easily pick it up and get it out of your loaf tin. So I'm just going to spread my batter now into each of the corners. There we go. I caught my thumb with the mixture as I poured it out. And all you want to do is just make sure that it's quite level across your tin. There we go. Right, happy with that. Just clean up my hand. There we go. I've got the pre-made lines. Oh, awesome, Tracy. I do like those. They are good. Right, so that's my sponge in the tin. My oven is already preheated, so I'm going to pop it in. Make sure that your oven is up to temperature. So again, it's 180 degrees Celsius or 165 for fan or gas mark 4. So I'm going to pop mine in. In fact, I've got mine at 170 if you want to go a little bit higher, but I'm a fan oven. Right, baking wise, if you're going, oh, hang on, I'm turning up the temperature, not the, if you're going to do a tray bake, you want about 40 to 45 minutes. I'm going to put it on to 45. If you're doing a loaf tin, you're probably going to want about the same. If you're doing cupcakes, you're going to want about 20 minutes. If you're doing little cakes, about 15. If you're doing muffin size, about 20. What you're looking for, if you're going to be all right for a bit, so get them in. And then when the beeper goes off, or if you can smell your lemon cake and it smells pretty good, it's a good sign that it's almost or it is cooked. So what you want to do is, before you even open the door, if you've got a light, put the light on, or just peek slightly through the door. See if it's got a nice golden colour to it. If it's got no colour and it's not risen, it's not ready. Just pop it in the oven and put it on for another 5-10 minutes. If it's looking golden and it's risen, bring it out, and there's a number of things you can do. You can carefully, because obviously it's hot, press down on the middle of the cake, press down gently on the centre, and if the sponge presses down with you but springs back up, that's a really good sign it is done. If you press it down and it stays down, it's not ready. It's still got some uncooked batter in there. The other thing you can do, visually, if you move it and it wobbles, it's not ready. Don't even try anything else, just close the door, another 5-10 minutes, then try it again. And the other one you can do is to get a skewer and to poke a hole in the middle of it, and then bring it out. If it comes out with batter on it, it's not ready, another 5-10 minutes, then check again. If it comes out dry, then your sponge is cooked. So I hope all those hints and tips help you. Once it is out the oven, you're going to want to lace it with a nice lemony syrup. We're going to do a really easy glaze today. So I've got 100 grams of icing sugar, and then I've got the juice of my lemon. Now, you don't have to use icing sugar. You could use just caster sugar and lemon. And you could, if you wanted to, if you'd rather not have the sweetness, you just want the tartness, you could just squeeze lemon over the top. But hopefully I won't get any pips in this, but I'm going to squeeze the lemon juice into my 100 grams of icing sugar. And I just want to form quite a runny glaze. When the cake comes out of the oven, we'll have the glaze ready on the side, and then we're going to poke a load of holes into the lemon cake and then spoon the glaze over, and then leave it to cool. And it gives it a really nice, crackly finish on top. And of course, you've got all that nice sweet lemon that's sinking into your cake, which I do think makes it the king of sponge cakes, I've got to say. So if any of you are on a real lemon fix, you could even add a bit of lemon curd to it, or you could even decorate it if you wanted to. But I just think lemon drizzle can be left alone quite a bit. I suppose you could do lemon and poppy seed if you wanted to get adventurous. Add something a bit different. So I'm just going through my other half of the lemon now. I think I've managed to avoid all the pips going into this. You can get juices, which can help as well, can't you? So there we go. So hopefully, what time is it now? I think for 3 o'clock. Yeah, for anyone, if the kids have got a club today or anything, this will be done for like after the school club as a bit of a treat, or maybe a bit of pudding after dinner today. And it will last as well. Keep it, once it's cooled, take it out of the tin, and then you can put it into, a sealed tin or a container, and just keep it wrapped or in a container. And this will last you a good few days if you let it. It won't in our house, but I'll show you. See how runny that is? It's white. I mean, you can see the bowl's white and it's pretty white inside of it, but it's very thin. But that's what you want, because you want it to sink into the cake. So that's a lovely consistency. Now, if you leave that for too long, you will find that, like it would on the cake, you'll end up with like a crystallized bit on it. So either keep stirring occasionally, or just get a bit of cling film and just pop it on top just to stop it crystallizing. But once you've got that made, and if you're doing this later and you're watching it back, you can do that bit a bit later when your cakes are more ready. But you can put that on top of your cupcakes or your loaf tin cake or your tray bake. Just poke a load of holes in the finished cake, and then you can just spoon it all over the top and then leave it to cool down. And it's absolutely delicious. I've got a photo here. Can you see? This is from our recipe book, Lockdown Baking a Second Helping. And that's a slice of the lemon drizzle. And you can see that lovely glaze on top, soft sponge, and then that lovely lemony glaze. And you can get that on Amazon if you so wish. We've got 2 lockdown baking books on there. But that's it. As I said, I've got good over half an hour left on my cake. So I will be checking on that. I tend to go first. Well, 45 minutes is what I've put on the timer for the tray bake. If I smell the cake and it smells quite cooked, might check on it a bit earlier, but that should be about the right amount of time. And then do all those hints and tips to make sure. If you find it needs 55 minutes, particularly if you've put it in like a loaf tin and it's a bigger 2-pounder, that's okay. Just keep testing it. So hand on the top, press it down lightly for that and see if it bounces back. That's then done. If it doesn't, put it in for longer. And you can always use a skewer and poke it in. If it comes out and it's got batter on it, not done, put it in for longer. If it comes out dry, and always use the middle because that's where it's going to be the least cooked, if you like. If it comes out dry, then it's done as well. But if you have any questions at all, do let me know. Ruth, where can I watch you make Christmas cake, please? It will be on Virtual Village Hall, and you can look for the Christmas cake. It was only last week, so you should be able to find that. I'm sure they'll give you the link to it anyway. So do that. We're looking to come back to do decorating the cakes. So at the moment, you just want to make it and then wrap it up and store it, and then occasionally feed it some brandy. But do have a look out for that one. What else did we do? We did one before that. Oh, we did cheese straws, didn't we? So feel like I need cake now, says Cheryl. Yeah, me too. I've got to say, what did I try the other day? My friend made some parkin. We were discussing that on when we made the Christmas cakes. We were talking about what could you use black treacle for, and someone said parkin. You know what? I haven't actually ever tried to make it. My friend made it, and it was gorgeous. So if you've got black treacle for your Christmas cake, do have a go at parkin as well. Thank you, says Ruth. You are very welcome. Tracy, I'm glad you like the tips. Hopefully they'll all help you. Do feel free to send in your photos to Virtual Village Hall and share your makes. There you go, Ruth. Virtual Village Hall has added the link for the video for the Christmas cake, so you can follow along there. But yeah, have fun. If you've not been baking, then hopefully you'll enjoy doing this another time when you've got a spare minute, and you can enjoy the results. But that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, guys, enjoy. Make up your glaze, have it ready, spoon it on when it comes out of the oven, and then just give it a bit of time to cool. You can eat it warm, but just don't burn yourselves. And enjoy your lemon drizzle cake. So Alison says, thank you very much. You're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure baking with you guys, and I'm sure we'll be back again soon to do some more baking. Ruth, but wow, thank you, and Merry Christmas all. Never too early. Lady like me there. I do love Christmas too. Okay, have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.